Hi, welcome again to your Nitrotel channel. In this occasion, we're speaking in English. Próximamente lo publicaremos en español. We are presenting a micro training on structured copper cabling based on the solution from our sister company, Nitrotel. It is courtesy of the distributor Silmar Electronics, developed by the National Training Center to certify Silmar salespersons in the brand's solution. Don't forget to subscribe, and we are waiting for your comments. And as our main trainer always recommends, may the fiber be with you.
In this month's training, we're going to look at structured cabling from the copper perspective and how Nitrotel can meet your structured cabling needs. Let's begin. Structured cabling has to meet certain requirements when it's installed for a local area network or LAN. It has to be reliable. How do we make it reliable? We install it according to specifications and industry standards. It has to be administrable. That means that personnel other than the one that installed it can work on it. How do we ensure that it's administrable? We install it according to industry standards. We provide extensive documentation of the installation. It has to be adaptive, prepared for Macs, moves, adds, and changes. Structured cabling systems will evolve over time. It has to be universal. It has to support data, voice, automation, all on a single platform. Finally, it has to be durable with at least a 10-year useful life. Fortunately, Nitrotel products offer a lifetime warranty. The Telecom Industry Association, or TIA, has developed standards for the design and installation of structured cabling systems. Additionally, components should also comply with TIA standards. Using equipment that complies with standards, installing the system that complies with standards ensures reliability and administrative capability. Structured cabling involves many acronyms, so in order to talk to our customers about structured cabling, it's helpful to get used to some of the acronyms to be able to communicate with our customers about them. An HC is a horizontal cross connect. This is a connection point typically for a floor. A backbone is a cable that runs in between floors and connects horizontal cross connects to the entrance facility or the main cross connect. An EF is an entrance facility. This is where services from an outside provider like internet or telephone come into the building. An MC is a main cross connect, and this is where the cabling all basically runs back to, including the backbone cable that interconnects all of the horizontal cross connects. A campus backbone would be used in an application where you have multiple buildings in a campus situation that are connected together. And finally, horizontal cabling is cabling that's run on a single floor that runs to individual locations where devices are connected. Copper cabling used in structured cabling is identified by categories, and there are 4 main categories of copper cabling in common use right now. Category 5E, which tests up to 100 megahertz and has a maximum Ethernet speed of 1,000 megabits per second, or gigabit Ethernet. Category 6 cable tests up to 250 megahertz worth of bandwidth and has a maximum Ethernet speed of also 1,000 megabits per second, which is fast Ethernet. Category 6A, which is an upgrade to Category 6, tests up to 500 megahertz worth of bandwidth and has a maximum Ethernet speed of 10 gigabits per second, commonly called 10 gig Ethernet. And finally, Category 8, the latest and greatest, tests in bandwidth up to 2,000 megahertz and has a maximum Ethernet speed of 40 gigabits per second, or 40 gig Ethernet, for distances up to 30 meters, which is nearly 100 feet. Category cables are retrofittable. For example, in a work area, we could have jacks that are connected back to the head end using Cat5e cable. We'll need a patch cord to connect from the jack to the equipment, and that patch cord could be a Category 5e cable, Cat6, or Cat6a. Third-party certification is important for equipment used in structured cabling, and the 2 organizations that offer certification for structured cabling equipment are Intertek, which offers an ETL listing, and Underwriters Laboratory, which offers a UL listing. Nitrotel supports both of these listing organizations with their equipment. Copper cable used in structured cabling is going to be a twisted pair cable but may be a shielded or unshielded cable depending upon the application. TIA identifies twisted pair cable as UTP, but also puts a prefix in front of it to identify whether the cable is shielded or not. U being unshielded, F being a foil shield, and S being a shielded or braid type shield. Copper structured cabling will consist of multiple components. First of all will be the cable and infrastructure material. That'll be a category 5E, Cat 6, Cat 6A, or Cat 8 cable. At the TO, the telecommunications outlet, we're going to have modular jacks. The modular jacks will snap into a faceplate or a surface mount box to provide connection to the equipment at the work locations. There'll be patch cords to connect from the modular jacks to the equipment in the work area. At the head end for the horizontal cross connect, we'll typically have a rack. The rack will support all the cabling and equipment, and it will require vertical cable management and horizontal cable management to organize the cables. We'll also include a patch panel for making connections from the cabling returning back to the horizontal cross connect to the electronics located at the horizontal cross connect. The industry standard connector for copper structured cabling is the RJ45, and the RJ45 uses two wiring standards. It uses 568A and 568B. We're going to have RJ45s both at the telecommunications outlet and in the telecommunications room at the horizontal cross connect, and we need to make sure that we use the same standard throughout the project. This ensures that all the wiring will be compatible. Fortunately, Nitrotel jacks come with both standards color-coded onto the jack. Patch cords are used in the work areas to provide a connection from the telecommunications outlet to the equipment. Patch cords will typically be 7 foot or 10 foot in length. The recommended maximum is 15 feet for a standard outlet and 75 feet for a multiple user telecommunications outlet. They're typically 24, 26, or 28 gauge conductors. Stranded cables with snagless boots are recommended in categories 5E, 6, 6A, may be shielded or unshielded. The color is typically blue or gray, but other colors are available, and they should be UL or ETL listed. Nitrotel telecommunications patch cords are a standard 28 gauge, although other gauges are available by request. Now, it's important to remember the maximum horizontal cabling distance is recommended. For 24 gauge, the maximum distance is 295 feet. For 26 gauge, it's 282 feet, and for 28 gauge, which Nitrotel uses on their patch cords, it's 270 feet. You also want to beware of inferior patch cords that aren't made with solid conductors, that don't have molded boots, and are not certified. Telecommunications outlets will typically terminate in an RJ45, and we have two options for RJ45. We have the 90 degree and the 180 degree. The 180 is a standard Nitrotel jack, and it's available in Cat 5E, Cat 6, Cat 6A, shielded or unshielded, also in 8 different colors. The jacks snap into a wall plate. Ideally, we use at least a 2-port wall plate, but there are also options for 1, 3, 4, and 6 ports on a single gang wall plate. Other telecommunications outlets include the multiple user telecommunications outlet assembly, which is designed to support multiple connections in a single connection point, surface mounting boxes with 1, 2, or 4 ports, and a surface mount back box for the single gang wall plate. Copper structured cabling is manufactured to specific standards. The maximum outside diameter is 9 millimeter, and the gauges may be 22 to 24 gauge. Typically with Cat 5E cable, it'll be 5 millimeter outside diameter with 24 gauge cable. Cat 6 may be 23 or 24 gauge cable, and Cat 6A is going to have an outside diameter of 7 millimeters and typically use 23 gauge cable. The requirements of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, apply to structured cabling within a building, specifically Article 800. And it requires the use of plenum or riser cable, depending upon the application. When it's not run in the plenum area and not vertical or in metal conduit, then you can use standard general purpose cable, or CM cable. Cables are classified based on their behavior when they're exposed to a flame. The lowest classification of cable is CM. This is a general purpose cable that has the least amount of flame resistance and is suitable for horizontal runs on a single floor. LSZH is low smoke, zero halogen. This is a cable suitable for vertical runs between floors and produces low amounts of smoke and no halogens, which are toxic materials. CMR cable or riser cable is another classification of cable suitable for vertical runs between floors, and CMR cable has a resistance to the fire propagating up the cable. The highest classification of cable is plenum or CMP. This has the highest amount of burn resistance and it does not produce toxic materials when it burns, and this is commonly called Teflon cable. Nitrotel cables are available in 1,000-foot spools, which have a plastic reel inside a carton box. They may be 23 or 24 gauge conductors, depending upon the category. Category 5E, 6, and 6A, shielded or unshielded cables are available, and they are ETL listed cables. The colors available typically include blue, gray, and white, and they have the classifications of CM, CMR, or CMP, depending upon the intended application of the cable. Cable that's running outside the building requires special cable. We should not use interior type cable outside. Cable run outside a building will be black, have an HDPE or LDPE jacket. It'll have water block, gel, or compound, and the options are double jacket and double shielded. Contact Nitrotel if you have a specific need for exterior cable. Nitrotel offers a wide variety of cable options, including categories of 5A, 6, and 6A, cables for specific environments, interior or exterior, cables with bonding or shielding, either unshielded or shielded type cable, cables for interior applications, including CM, CMR, CMP, and LSZH classified cables in a variety of colors, exterior cables that are gel-filled or compound-filled, and have a single or double jacket, and different cable options as well, including 24 gauge instead of 23 gauge, and double bonding, like shielded with a braid and with foil for UTP cables. Nitrotel offers an end-to-end solution for your structured cabling needs, including equipment for the telecommunications closet. When you're selecting equipment for the telecommunications closet, it's very important to anticipate future growth. You want to size the rack or rack mount units, RMUs, in space to allow for future racks or cabinets. Racks and cabinets typically are a standard 19-inch width, but some are available in a 23-inch width. The depth is typically anywhere from 5 inches to 47 inches, depending upon the need. The height is expressed in RMUs or rack mount units or just U's, and anywhere from 1U to 48U in height. Now, one rack mount unit or U is 1 3/4 inches. Nitrotel offers a wide variety of racks and enclosures to meet your telecommunications closet needs, including wall mount units with a single section or wall mount units with a double section, 2-post racks, 4-post racks, network cabinets, and server cabinets. Nitrotel also offers all the peripherals and hardware you need to finish out your telecommunications closet, including a slimline rack shelf, 19-inch format vented shelf, a vented 4-point adjustable sliding shelf, a fiber patch panel, filler panel, cage nut, cup, washers, and screws, and of course data center equipment and OSP solutions as well. When you're selecting a rack or cabinet from Nitrotel, there's a couple of things you need to know. Mounting, is it going to be floor mount or wall mount? How many rack mount units do you need? The wall mount units go from 6 to 23. The floor mounts go from 28 to 48. What's the application for the wall mount? Is it Soho, small office, home office, single or double? If it's a floor rack, is it an open rack, 2 or 4 post? For a floor cabinet, which is enclosed, it is a network, and what are the width and depth needed? If it's a server, width and depth needed to accommodate the servers. And other options, including power distribution units, shelves, and blank panels, all available from Nitrotel. A very important part of your telecommunications closet is patch panels, and Nitrotel has you covered. Cat 5e, Cat 6, or Cat 6a patch panels, shielded or unshielded, 24 or 48 ports, and options for loaded patch panels or unloaded patch panels that can be customized in the field. Cable management makes for a neater installation, and Nitrotel has you covered with horizontal cable management in 1 or 2 rack unit, and options for double as well, and vertical cable management, height up to 35 or 71 inches, and the sectional 3 by 6 inch, and double as well. And again, it's very important to consider future growth. After we complete the installation, we want to test the installation. There are a couple tests that we may be required to perform. Conductor continuity and position testing are the most basic testing. We may also need to do analyzer testing to perform the circuits will meet the specifications, and there may also be an official certification requirement as well. We've covered a lot in this training, and I'm sure you still have more questions. I encourage you to reach out to Danny Morera at nitrotelmanufacturing.com with your questions and for assistance in design of these systems and installation. Nitrotel would like to thank you for completing this training, and we ask that you complete the quiz that follows to finish this training session.